Today I'm going to talk about the three lakshanas, or if you like, the three marks of conditioned existence. The three things which characterize life as we know it, you could say. So these three things are basically that all conditioned things are unsatisfactory, that all conditioned things are subject to impermanence, that all conditioned things lack substantiality or true selfhood. So we need to come to some sort of understanding of, well, what that is all getting about. So first of all, the fact that all things are ultimately unsatisfactory. This is not denying that we have, for example, in the course of our life, experiences which we find deeply satisfying. We all have such experiences, but the trouble is that they tend not to last, or our satisfaction with what we've done tends not to last, because that's whatever satisfaction we gain in life fades, whether it's a sensual satisfaction, whether it's some sort of high moment, when you've been touched by a moment of beauty, you're moved by that. But the fact that you've been moved, it will affect your life and the way you perceive life and so forth, but it's not, it can't stay with you all the time. So all our experience ultimately shifts and changes. It's not, and therefore cannot ultimately satisfy us. Because of course there are many things in our lives which are not satisfactory at all. In fact, they're rather painful. Things that we'd rather not experience, things that we would prefer not to exist, people even that we prefer not to exist, or at least not to associate with. So much of our life is unsatisfactory. And it's unsatisfactory, or that our experiences are unsatisfactory, partly because everything is impermanent. Nothing lasts. I mean, this is so obvious. You can see it if you just look around you. You can see it even if you look in the mirror from day to day. You look different. You begin to notice this the older you get, and I've been living quite a long time, so I can see just how much my body and how my face has changed in that period. I don't look remotely like I did when I was 24. I'm now nearly 72. So you can imagine that the huge shift which has taken place in the course of that time. I was actually quite good looking once. You might find that difficult to believe, but believe me, it's true. But it's all gone. What was the use of those good looks if suddenly it reduces to this? Look at the sort of rings around my eyes, the fact that I'm very obviously an old man. So even just with your own body, you can see with your own face that over a period of time it changes. And that is painful. I'd far rather look as I did when I was 24 than I do now, given the choice. But I don't have that choice because things are always changing. So you can apply that to all aspects of life. And finally, life is characterized by insubstantiality. The fact is that there's nothing which is permanent and fixed in life. Nothing lasts forever. There's nothing even in the human personality that lasts forever. So especially with this third characteristic, it's referring to that. Just as nothing in the world remains the same, the climate doesn't remain the same, the weather doesn't remain the same, well, so too, we ourselves are subject to change all the time, like I just explained with regards to the aging, but even with what we experience in terms of our mental states, the way that we relate to people, the way even that we perceive the world. We might start off very, very young and enthusiastic and optimistic about life, but by the time you reach my age, many people are rather embittered by their experience. So we change in that way too. There's nothing substance, there's nothing fixed, nothing unchanging in our experience of what we regard as me, as myself. Now, this might sound a little bit pessimistic, but actually it's not. Because the fact that things change is a positive thing too. For example, if you're living in a war zone, well, it can change positively. The war comes to an end, peace returns. And in terms of the human personality, it means that you can change for the better. You can become kinder. You can become wiser. You can become more capable. Perhaps you discover talents that you never knew you had. You can even become something else. You become a totally different kind of person, a much more positive person. So the fact is that we can change, and that's a positive thing. And we can change in the light of an ideal, which is really the most important thing to bear in mind with this teaching. we can move from a state of unenlightenment to a state of enlightenment. We can become a perfect human being.